Hi guys, this is Mrs. Harple and I'm here to tell you about your assignment in the Reader's Notebook on pages 151 and 152. First of all, you should have read Mountains, Surviving Mount Everest. There's the title there again. And I hope you've read this at least twice by now. If you haven't, will you take a minute and reread it? When you're finished reading, your assignment will be to create a travel brochure. Brochure isn't a phrase we use a lot. It just means a piece of paper that tells what you can expect or what you need to travel to that location. So your goal is to write a travel brochure about climbing Mount Everest. But first you need to gather details. So on your document or your packet, or even in the read aloud on YouTube, you're going to turn to page 349 and 351. You will write important details about Mount Everest and its mountain range. I might talk about how high it is, how many people climb it, when the best time to climb it, what the weather might be, where you will stay. The next one is you are going to look for what equipment should travelers bring. Should I bring an umbrella? Or should I bring skis? How about some swimming equipment or snorkels? Probably not. But if you read page 354, you should know what equipment you can bring. You don't have to write complete sentences in here. You can just put commas or make a list. Last thing is you're reading pages 355 to 360. That's quite a few pages. So you'll need to skim and scan over that again. What should travelers know about the climb? What should they be careful not to do? Do you see how the not is an italicized? That means you need to make sure you pay attention to that. So what do they need to know about climbing? And what should they be careful not to do? So make sure you answer both of those questions by putting details here on these lines. Again, you don't have to write complete sentences. You can do a list. So now I'm looking at page 152, and it gets a little bit confusing. That's why I wanted to show you what I did. It says, use all the details from the previous page to write a brochure that will tell climbers what to expect on Mount Everest and what to bring for the climb. Include a title and labeled illustrations on each panel of the brochure to show what the section talks about. So what they've done is they've provided this organizer for you. You can write in this, but it's really not a great thing because it's not a good color. It's going to be hard for me to write on that since it's so dark. So instead, what I did is I got a piece of paper. Now, I apologize. You can see the pink showing through from the other side. I'll show you that in a minute. Try to ignore the pink. I took one piece of regular paper. It doesn't matter if it's plain or colored or has lines on it. I folded it about a third, and then I folded it about the other third. And I creased it, and then I drew lines up and down so I could see them. And I drew a line across the top for the title, just like that one. So I have 3 sections, and I put my title at the top, preparing to climb Mount Everest, and don't forget your name. The first section I copied from the Reader's Notebook. See, kind of looks the same. Mine's bigger because it's on a bigger piece of paper. And I put a box here. I like to use double borders because it makes it look cool. And I drew some lines. Please try to make them straight. And this one is details. I wrote details down here just to remind me that that's where I put my details. Where do I find the information for this for this side of my brochure? Well, that's easy. I need to turn back here, and this is where my details will be. Do I need to write in sentences? Maybe you need at least one sentence to introduce it and say, these are the things you might learn about Mount Everest, or these are things you should know about Mount Everest, and then you could do bullet points and make a list underneath if you want. It would be great in sentences if you like. But I think, I like to travel, and I've seen those in both ways. Now, the second column in the middle, it has the box in the bottom. Again, I've tried to make my box really nice and neat so it looks professional. And here I'm going to talk about the equipment that I will need if I'm visiting Mount Everest. I'll write about the equipment and maybe I'll list some things there. And where do I find the equipment? Well, that's easy. I'm going to turn right back and find it here on page 151. Lastly, my third column, oops, looks a little bit like that one, doesn't it? And I've got the box on the top for an illustration, and I've got some lines to write. Remember, that is what a traveler should know and things that they should not do. And I find that information back here. They should be careful not to do, and what they should know about the climb. That's where that information comes from. So now I have all three of these. Each box has an illustration with a label. So if I draw boots here, I need to write the word boots underneath them. Perhaps I draw rope, boots, gloves, and a mask, and I need to write all of those labels there too. When I close this, there we go. I'm going to close it this way, and then I'm going to close it this way. So now it's a true brochure. I went ahead and I didn't do a very good job because I just had a pink highlighter, but if you have crayons or markers, this is the perfect time to use them. I did the title again, Prepare to Climb Mount Everest. I put some clouds. I did Mount Everest with a little bit of snow and a flag and this great ladder at the bottom. You can do it any way you want, and I hope you use more than pink. Enjoy making your brochure for Mount Everest.